In the 1970s, the U.S. government offered a $100 million grant for any corporation to figure out climate change. Two corporations vied for the money: the Institute for Energy Analysis at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. The Oak Ridge boys utilized real-world barometric pressure readings, thermometer and temperature readings, and real-world observations, whereas the National Center for Atmospheric Research relied on the algorithms created from data fed to the latest computer models. The future of government climate view and actions would be based on the model chosen. Whoever was picked would shape the world. What if I told you the following conversation occurred?
Jerry, thank God. We need to talk.
Steve, I'm busy right now. I've got the board meeting in 15 minutes.
There's a problem with the numbers, Jerry. We need to talk now.
A problem with the numbers. Come on, Steve, we've run those numbers all the way back to the freaking plague. The numbers are right.
Yeah, Jerry, those numbers are right, but we went back further.
Further? What does that mean?
We gave it all the numbers we had, Jerry. We gave it the numbers all the way back to the Romans. We have a problem. It sees a pattern.
What pattern, Steve? What could it possibly see?
It used to be hot, Jerry. I mean, it used to be as hot as it is now. When we gave it the numbers, and it sees a pattern. We gave it numbers back to the plague, but when it saw the numbers before the plague, it saw a correlation. Then we gave it the numbers back to Rome, and now it says it's a pattern, Jerry. If it's happened more than twice, it says it's a pattern. We've got trouble, Jerry.
What pattern, Steve? What pattern?
It says the petri dish is full. It showed me the pattern.
Steve, I've got to go talk to the board. Stay here. I'll be back as soon as I can, and you need to explain this to me.
All right, Steve. What's all this pattern stuff?
Oh, hi, Jer. Yeah, I was worked up this morning, but I've had time to think about it, and I think it's right.
Steve, tell me what you were talking about.
It's like this. If you have a clock and a petri dish, and at 11 you put an organism in the petri dish, it doubles in size every minute. Jerry, if the dish fills at 12, at what point was the dish half full?
Let me see. This is compounding math. I see. 11:59. The minute before, then it doubled and filled the glass.
That's right. The first half hour it barely covers the bottom of the glass. Then all of the sudden it starts making huge leaps and bounds, and then it's overflowing. Humans, Jerry, we're the organism in that petri dish.
What the hell are you saying, Steve?
We know we can track our species back 250,000 years, and at that time we know there were about 10,000 of us in our small community. And between 250,000 years ago and the year 1900, we had a population of 2 billion. But Jerry, between the year 1900 and the year 2000, the population will more than triple. By the year 2000, there will be more than 7 billion people on this planet.
Never mind, Steve. I don't want to know. I don't have time for this. This is crazy.
Over the last 2,500 years, we can track the weather patterns. And Jerry, what it showed me, when civilizations grow too big, climate changes. At the height of the Roman Empire, the weather was as hot as it is today. And then plagues and disasters reduced the population of Rome from 1 million people to less than 50,000. A 95% reduction, Jerry. Then we recovered again. About 1,000 years ago, man had recovered and the population again exploded. Just like before, there was a warming period, and then the Black Death came. It reduced the population by 50%. It says the problem is an overpopulation of carbon-based life forms. I think it may be right, Jerry.
This is crazy. Wait. So what you're saying is carbon. Carbon is the problem.
No, Jerry. That's not what I'm saying. It says carbon-based life forms. It says us.
No, that's not it, carbon, Steve. That's what I'm hearing. And what produces carbon? Factories. Steve, factories, and oil, and cars, and plastics, and petroleum. Steve, everything has carbon, and if we can convince the government that this is what causes the change, they can tax anything that produces carbon.
But Jerry, that doesn't make sense. Look at the numbers. It was just as hot 1,000 years ago and 2,000 years ago. Factories and all those things didn't exist back then, Jerry.
Oh, Posh. Steve, my boy. I've got to sell this to these guys in Washington. And Steve, I can't just take them a paper saying, our computer says people are the problem, now can I? But this carbon thing I can use. Politicians are always looking for ways to tax the common man. This will be right up their alley. By God, Tom, I think we found it.
Jur, that's not right. We can't just lie about what it said.
We're not. Not exactly. As you said, it identified carbon-based life forms as the cause of climate change. We're all made of carbon, so we're not really lying. I've got 1,000 employees relying on this, Steve. I've got to sell this to the government, or we're all going to be out in the street. You can't say anything. Steve, that's an order.
Look, Jerry, I won't say anything, but I can't be part of this anymore. Jerry, I'm out. I quit. Jerry, that computer is right.
Come on, Steve. Don't do that. You're our best computer guy. If you quit, I'll make sure you don't get another job with computers. Steve, you hear me. You'll never work with computers again.
Let me tell you, I'm going to build my own computer. I will take my research and I will feed it all the information and I will create the smartest computers ever. And if they destroy us all, well, so be it. Then when people think of computer, they will think of the name Jobs. Jerry, how do you like them apples?
In 1970, the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado, was awarded the government contract and, using advertising and propaganda, convinced the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that their computers understood the causes and how the climate would change. The IPCC continues to rely on reports from this computer model of climate change and many of the restrictions placed on companies and policies about how we are able to use our environment come from this program. Steve Jobs founded Apple Computers in 1976 and introduced the Apple iWatch in 2015, beginning its second phase of world domination. The world population was 7 billion people in the year 2000. The weather is still hot.